It's finally starting to feel like TV review season again. We're back in the studio. I got the LG C2 OLED right here. Let's do this. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Caleb Dennison, and while I've been fortunate enough to travel around some and see some hot new TVs, we saw the A95K from Sony and the Samsung S95B so far. Feels good to be back on my home turf here in the studio where we can literally put these TVs under a microscope and see what they can do. I'm excited. Can you tell? Is the excitement coming through? Good, because I think this is one of the most important TVs of the year. We're going to talk about why in just a minute. We also got to see what's new for this year and what has stayed the same and kind of see where the C2 fits into the whole marketplace. So with that in mind, let's get going. Before I get into it though, I just want to say if you're new around here, welcome to the community. It's great to have you. If you like what you see, consider hitting that subscribe button. It really helps us out. And if you've been with me for a minute, welcome back. It's good to see you as well. Hit me up in the comments section. Let me know, how am I doing? What can I change? I'm always open to your feedback, and it's fun to have a conversation with you down there. All right, let's get into this TV. So this boring brown box you see here, that's not an accident. Less ink equals more environmentally conscious, and that is a design philosophy behind, well, a lot of LG's TVs, but specifically this one. You may have remembered the C1 OLED had like a 30-pound stand. This one weighs mere ounces. It's super, super light. It's also a cinch to install, but don't worry, that's not gonna affect the stability of the TV because the TV itself is also stupid light, to the point where we actually wondered if there was a TV inside the box when we brought it into this room. But as it turns out, the whole thing is just super light. You shouldn't do this, but you could probably wall mount this TV all by yourself. It's really that light. And part of the reason for that is this composite fiber material that they're using on the back of the TV now. They stepped away from the heavy metals and glass, and with this composite fiber material, they've managed to maintain strength and rigidity, but they've shed a bunch of pounds. And that's not just environmentally friendly and conscious. It also costs LG less to get these TVs shipped all over the place because they're lighter, they take up less space, and you can pack more of them on a ship from South Korea to wherever they need to go. Now, you may remember with previous iterations of the C series, the front of the stand, that sort of scoop, actually helped the audio. Well, the stand has nothing to do with the audio now. There are two speakers that are down firing from the bottom of the TV. They're nowhere near the stand. They're rather modest looking. Doesn't exactly inspire confidence that this TV is going to sound good, but we'll see whether it does in the full review. The other thing worth mentioning back here is that you get 4 HDMI 2.1 inputs with all the goodies, 48 gigabits per second, FreeSync, G-Sync, the whole 9 yards. There's also 3 USB inputs here if you need them, and I should mention that all of them are side mounted. We don't have any rear mounted inputs anymore, so that'll make mounting this thing on the wall a little bit easier for some folks. So like I said before, I really like the smaller footprint of the stand. I think it helps modernize the TV, and frankly, it's just a nice change after seeing more or less the same design for the last 3 years. But what really does it for me about the C2's design is the pretty much lack of bezels. Basically, all you've got wrapping around the edge of this TV is a gunmetal gray sort of, well, metal strip. And that's it. There is no real bezel to speak of. And when you look at the TV from the side, the profile somehow seems even thinner than it was before. And I don't know why, but the little bump out on the back, it looks more attractive than it has in the past. So when you combine that with the composite fiber material and the bezel-less design, I mean, it's the most attractive OLED TV that LG's made yet. Okay, so at this point, what I've done in the past is run you through initial TV setup. I'm not gonna do that here. LG's WebOS has a wizard that walks you through initial setup, and it's easy enough to get through. I'll share any helpful observations about changes to WebOS and any helpful settings changes you can make for a better user experience in the full review once I've had a chance to really use the TV for a while. So look forward to that. What I do wanna talk about right now is picture presets. What are the options? How are they different? Which one I choose, which one you might choose, and how reviews are gonna be a little bit different this year. First off, I'm happy to see that LG ships its TVs in standard mode rather than energy saving mode. That was a move in the right direction. And I'm not gonna sit here and tell you you need to pick a different picture preset than that. If you like the look of a cooler color temperature and the extra brightness pop that you get from it, then maybe you should stick with standard mode. If you like a warmer color temperature, but you like the image a little bit brighter, maybe you want ISF bright mode. Just remember that you need to set picture presets for SDR, HDR, and Dolby Vision independently. So maybe use YouTube for an SDR and HDR video, and then use Netflix or Disney Plus or HBO Max for Dolby Vision. But then also remember, that's just the app. So be sure to do the same for one of your HDMI inputs, and then click Apply to all inputs for SDR, HDR, and Dolby Vision. Just do what you like. I'm not here to judge your choices. I am here, however, to judge a TV's performance. And for that reason, I have to have some baselines for evaluation. So as I review this TV, I'll probably start with filmmaker mode for SDR, cinema mode for HDR, and cinema home for Dolby Vision. Interesting to see some different presets for Dolby Vision outside of just Dolby Vision Bright and Dolby Vision Dark. And then work my way from there, increasing the peak brightness settings for HDR as I take measurements to see what the TV can do. But aside from using established settings and taking measurements from there, I'm also going to check out the TV's standard mode and talk about how it looks and whether it's a good-looking standard mode or if it's comparably horrible to other TV standard modes. I'll take a look at the game mode and see how I feel about how that looks, and again, compare it to other TV's game modes. I will probably not ever comment on vivid mode, other than to say that in vivid mode, the TV hits this brightness measurement because honestly, vivid mode just looks terrible across the board. Although funny enough, on the LG C2, I actually think the sports mode is the ugliest. Anyway, my point is we'll talk about accuracy, we'll talk about measurements, but we'll also talk about how you like to experience TV at home and take that into consideration as well. Now, as for first impressions, well, I kind of already got my first impressions a few weeks ago, so I'm not at all surprised. And you probably won't be surprised either to learn that this TV looks awesome. The picture quality is excellent, and I love the design. I mean, the baseline for an LG OLED these days just starts up here, and from there, it's a matter of nuance and quirks. So no surprises, and that's a good thing. So when we get to the review of this TV, we'll talk about how LG OLED Evo is not a panel. It's a blend of hardware and software efforts. We'll talk about how much brighter it is than previous C-series OLEDs and whether you can actually detect that. But the reason that I'm so excited about the LG C2 is really because of where it sits in the market. I have a feeling that this TV is the premium TV that will make the most sense for the most people. Its popularity is likely to be super high, and I so want to see if it's worth spending more to get the G2 series or not. How does it stack up to Samsung's S95B OLED? Are there any hidden surprises lurking in this TV? It's gonna be fun. So join me right back here for the full review of the LG C2. Thanks as always for watching, everyone. What is it that you hope to learn about the C2 OLED? We'll probably do a lot of versus videos this year. Leave me a comment about that down below. Please consider liking and subscribing. And here's 2 other videos I think you might like.